The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Awesome. Good morning, Judy. Got people coming on the line. It's 11:57. Got a few minutes till we get started. Happy February to you. Almost March. I can't believe how fast this year is going by. Can you hear me, Judy?
Oh, sorry. I went to get some water. Getting water before my call. Yeah.
Wonderful. It's good to be hydrated.
Yeah. Well, it's been a crazy week this week all around the country.
It
Real estate
has
offices closed and snow and ice, and it's just been a wild week for everyone.
It has been. If you guys are on the line already, you can use the Q&A panel to ask any questions. For now, let us know where you are in the country. And we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Judy, where are you? Are you back in Kentucky, or are you still jet setting around the world?
I arrived at midnight last night, so yes, I had every single day this week had delays and reroutings due to the storm, but I've arrived back in Lexington.
It makes travel so much fun in the winter, right?
Oh my gosh. Plus, everything from Lexington requires a connection, so you double your odds of running into.
Exactly. Let's see, we've got Seattle, we've got Maryland, we've got Chicago on the line. That's awesome. I bet it's really cold in Maryland right about now. How is it
That's
in
one of
Kentucky?
yeah, well, Kentucky's not too bad, around 40 degrees, I think. I have a client in Maryland. They had closed all their offices this week on Wednesday. I'm not sure about Thursday, but yeah, they were they got hit pretty hard out there.
Goodness gracious. Well, it's the perfect day to be online, on the phone, and on a webinar, right?
Exactly.
Wonderful.
It's easier.
All right, we're going to get started here in a few minutes. As I said, there's a little question and answer panel there on your control panel. So throughout the webinar, if you guys have questions, please use that to touch base with us, and we will get to as many questions as we can. On that note, thank you so much, Judy, for being here today. I'm really excited about the topic today of getting unstuck. I think you and I both have been talking to a lot of brokers who have found themselves kind of in a rut a little bit and not sure where to go from there. So I know you've got some terrific strategies for them for that.
Yeah. So it has been interesting. A lot of the feedback from brokers is, which is ironic, is that they keep waiting for kind of that real estate market to take off, and somehow or another their recruiting seems to be tied into that. So if the market's not going, they're not doing anything recruiting either, and so everyone's kind of just waiting. But it's the perfect time to be recruiting when the real estate market's not really taking off like it sometimes does.
Exactly. When they're in a lull, bring them into the office, right?
This is your time.
I'm going to let you get started. Take it away.
Well, thanks, Julie, and thank you for being on our call today. We did, again, we have had a lot of requests over the last month to just for ideas on, where do I get started? Right, I'm losing my voice here today. Sorry, I've got some water here. Where do I get started? What do I do? I feel like I'm just kind of lagging behind this year. And we have heard that from a lot of brokers. And I think sometimes when you're just feeling like you're kind of lagging behind, you have to kind of go back to the basics. And you have to make sure that you are doing those things that will keep you positioned in front of agents, that will educate the agents on why they should be talking to you, and just start moving forward. It's the same thing that we tell our agents. So sometimes our agents get in a rut. And ruts sometimes occur when everything that they're doing just doesn't seem to work. And then they start getting frustrated. And then mentally, they become their own worst enemy, because they almost go into situations thinking, well, they're probably going to cancel, or I probably won't get it. And that's such a dangerous mindset to have as a sales agent. And it's also a dangerous mindset to have as a broker or recruiter. And so I do see that a lot of brokers are telling me, and a lot of recruiters are telling me, that they feel like they're hitting the wall more this year than what they felt in the past. And the one thing that, as I'm listening to what they're saying, the one thing that is consistent among everyone that is giving that feedback is that all of the agents that they are reaching out to, all the agents that they are recruiting, are being heavily recruited by every other broker in town. Right. And so what's happening, I think if we go back 10 years ago, there was not a lot of recruiting going on. Your really savvy brokers would recruit, and the best agents would get their invites. Even 5 years ago, it wasn't quite as much, but today, there are a lot of different business models out there. There's a lot of full-time recruiters now working in the marketplace, whereas we didn't see that as much in the past. And agents do have a lot of options. So yes, are they maybe sometimes kind of like, pushing everyone away and saying, just let me sell real estate, like I'm happy? And that could be happening more right now. And so what that means is that the relationship building part of the process does actually become a little bit more important right now, because the recruiters and the brokers that are getting face-to-face with agents are the ones that have a relationship established with them. So, if you're just getting started, sure, it might be a little tougher for you if no one really knows who you are, but that's going to improve, with every month and certainly with every year that goes by. So for some of you that have been doing it a little bit longer, your results are really good right now. For others, you're definitely struggling. So let's just take a look at a quote that I love by Zig Ziglar. I use this in a lot of my events, so some of you have seen this before, but Zig Ziglar was a guy who had the absolute best, most positive attitude of anyone in our business. Would you agree with that, Julie?
Absolutely. He just exuded positivity.
He did. And when you were around him, you could feel that. Like you wanted to be involved in what he was doing, and because of who he was. And I think as recruiters and brokers, you need to have that same excitement and that same feeling coming out, to where people just look at you and they think, I want to be a part of that. Like, I want to experience what you're experiencing. And I love his quote, and he believed this with all of his heart, that you were all born to win. We're all born to win. But just because we're born to win doesn't mean that being a winner is just going to happen, okay? Zig was also smart enough to realize that those who are winning in their sport or in their arena or in the recruiting arena or in sales or in brokerage, if you look at the common denominators that they have a plan to win, so they're planning to win. They prepare to win, so there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. And they expect to win. And I think that last one is really important right now, because I'm hearing a lot of excuses. I'm hearing all the reasons why everyone thinks they can't win right now. It's like, well, my market's tough, or, well, you don't really understand, or, this is what I'm up against. And if you are feeling that you're up against things that you can't overcome, and you're thinking that you can't win, wow, that's a huge obstacle that has to be moved out of the way for you to really experience that success that you want. And I know sometimes you think, well, that's easier said than done, you're not here in my market. But the reality, it's like, the reality is there's a solution to every problem that you're experiencing. And sometimes you have to just sit back, and this goes back to that plan and that preparation, and think, okay, like, here's what's happening. Here's the problem. How can I approach this from a different angle? How can I make this work? Versus just caving into, it's just not happening. And there's a lot of moving components to recruiting. I mean, Julie and I could keep you on the phone for 24 straight hours, and we probably get through it all, right? But we're going to just hit on a couple of things today that if you're feeling that you're just kind of stuck, that it might be good to remember. So first thing is this. This is really more for brokers, but also for some of my recruiters, because I'm talking to recruiters right now who are telling me that, they've put the training hat on me, and oops, they've put the admin hat on me, and oops, I got the coaching hat on. If you're wearing a lot of hats, and a lot of times brokers are wearing 3, 4, or 5 hats. You are the recruiter, you are the trainer, you're the owner, you pay the bills, sometimes you answer the phones, you dump out the garbage. I mean, you're doing whatever it takes. But the more hats that you are wearing, the less time that you have to commit to recruiting. That just makes sense, okay?
Sure.
Sometimes you have to go, like if you're a broker owner and you have a recruiter that you're either piling a bunch of hats on them because they are talented. Recruiters are all talented. They can all do a variety of activities. And if if you just keep putting hats on them that says, hey, you know what, this person's going to do this and this and this, most activities are actually going to be more fun than sitting and making your calls all day long. That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true. So if I'm a recruiter, especially if I'm a newer recruiter, I'm in my first year and I haven't really, it hasn't gotten easy yet, because it doesn't get easy till you've been doing it for about a year. But if you're a recruiter and you're in that first year, and suddenly, the broker puts on another hat that, has more to do with, networking with agents and helping them with problems and training and stuff like that. If it doesn't have a direct correlation to recruiting, then what you're doing as a broker is you are really diverting your agent's attention away from your recruiter's attention away from what you hired them to do.
It's kind of like that eat the frog first, right? If there's something that you don't want to do, you got to do that first thing in the day or it never gets done, right?
Right. And so, I have so much respect and so much admiration for all of our recruiters out there, because you know what? I think recruiting is one of the toughest jobs that there is for the first year. Even tougher than sales agents sometimes, but because you hit the wall a lot. But the thing is that it gets a lot easier in year 2. It gets a lot easier in year 3. And honestly, I think it's the absolute most exciting, fun part about real estate is being that person that's responsible for that company's growth, okay? But your recruiter's got to stay focused on recruiting, okay? You can't put a lot of hats on them. Same thing as you as a broker. Now, sometimes you have to be wearing a lot of hats in the beginning. If you do, then you should be delegating 25% of your time each week to recruiting as a broker owner. And, I have a little equation here that just kind of is a reminder of why recruiting is so important, because recruiting does solve all your problems. Recruiting generates the income, okay? So without agents, there's no income. Without income, there's a lot more problems, okay? So,
you get better without income.
Yeah, I get that from brokers a lot too. They're like, well, I got to pay the bills. I'm like, well, I know you got to pay the bills, but that's never going to change until you start recruiting, okay? So you can just keep listing and selling every month and trying to pay your bills, or you could just sit down and think, I have to recruit an agent, and then I got to recruit another one and another one and another one. So if we take a look at why recruiting is so essential for a broker owner, you have to first look at how much income does that agent generate for you each year. For all of you, that's going to be something different. I was with a group yesterday that said, some said, it's 8,000 a year, some said it's 10. We'll take 10. It's an easier number here on the call. If that agent generates $10,000 a year for you as a broker, and they're going to stay with you an average of 7 years, that potential return on the investment per interview is a $70,000 income potential for you. And you can't earn $70,000 in an hour doing anything else but recruiting, and that is just the truth. So every single time, so that's why it's so important to engage with those agents, to do all the things we're going to talk about today, to just keep those agents in front of you every single day, because every time you sign one up, then, if it's $10,000, and for most of you, it's way more than that. Well, let's just say it's $10,000 on the low end, and every month you're generating an extra recruit, just one a month. And that means the first month you generated $10,000 in additional income to pay the bills, but that same agent will generate that $10,000 month number 2, but you bring another agent on board that's going to generate $10,000 a year for you. And the third month, it's those two that are generating $20,000 a year for you, but the next one's $30,000 a year for you. Next thing you know, a year later, when suddenly you've got agents that are going to generate $120,000 in additional revenue for you, some of the problems that you're currently experiencing can be handled because you've got some income to work with. Maybe you bring another person on board to wear a hat. Maybe you get a coach that coaches them up and increases the revenue that each agent brings on board, which is kind of like recruiting too, because if you take each agent and they're producing more, and you as a broker are earning more from each agent because they're more productive, then again, that's creating the same thing that recruiting does. But the income from recruiting is what pays for all this stuff. And so that's the why. And I think if you're stuck, you have to just really remember on a daily basis why recruiting is essential. Whether you have a recruiter, or whether you're doing it yourself, or you have managers, okay? And the second thing, the next thing is that I see brokers dashing into an interview without even being prepared. We're going to talk about that today. But if you had $1 million listing that was also going to generate ten or $12,000 for you, like you would go into that listing very well prepared.
Agreed.
Why do you not? Right. And that listing is probably not, you're not going to get that $1 million listing every single year for 7 years. You're going to get it once. But the recruit, you get the same, you get that $1 million commission every single year for, again, as long as you're going to be with your company. So at least give it the same amount of preparation you would for a listing. Okay. It'd be like if someone called you up and said, I'd like you to come over and list my $1 million property, and just so you know, I'm gonna list and sell I'm gonna list and sell this property every single year for you. So you're gonna get this property over and over every single year. That would be so exciting for you as a broker.
You'd be prepped then, wouldn't you?
They understand that they're gonna go in with everything to make sure they get that property. They can't even imagine a $1 million listing that they get to sell every single year. But it's so much easier to simply be prepared for a 1-hour interview to get an agent who will bring the income of $1 million producer in every single year for you, because you don't even have to go in every year to do it. Now you have to retain them, okay? But the why is really important. If you're stuck and the why can't get you unstuck, well then there's another issue there that we probably don't have time to go into today. But that's the why, and it is really important. Also, don't let paralysis by analysis slow you down, okay? And I say paralysis by analysis. What it means is that, you spend so much time trying to figure out who's the right agent. Well, what if I don't like them? Well, what if they're not a good fit? I don't know who that person is. So, next thing you know, now we're at the end of February, and some of you are still trying to get your hit list together. And so don't worry about it. I was with a group yesterday, and the question was posed to me: how do you know if you just take a group of 100 agents and you base it on production alone? How do you know they're going to be a good fit? My answer was, you don't know, but it doesn't really matter. They're on your hit list, okay? And that doesn't mean they're going to be in your office. It means that you're going to begin a series of dialogues with that person. You're going to look at them on social media. You're going to correspond with them by phone, text, emails, and ultimately you're going to get face-to-face with them. If it's not a
relationships,
good fit,
right?
That's right. If it's not a good fit, you just say no, okay?
Don't overthink it. Just build relationships.
That's right. I'd rather you take a bunch of people that just fit your financial criteria, meaning they're doing the amount of business you'd like them to be doing to be a potential recruit, and just start talking to people, okay? Don't analyze it so long that you never get past that first step. But it is always, I tell everybody first of the year, update your list of potential recruits, add some new people in there. If you find that you're calling all the same people over and over, and you've been calling the same group for like 3, 4, 5 years, your group is stale if you haven't updated it. There's new agents coming into the market every single day. So throw a bunch of new people in the first of the year, start building those relationships, talk to them, and anytime you find that you're talking to someone who seems rude, then just take them off your list. So it's not a big deal. The other thing is that when you are just kind of going back to the basics, and most of you should have this in place, but sometimes you don't really take the time to make sure that the people that you choose to maintain on your list are a good fit. The better the fit is, the more likely they're to join. So here's what I mean by that. You could take, let's say you use broker metrics, different resources that pull data from the MLS, and you decide that you want an agent on your list that's had at least 6 transactions last year. Maybe the list is from 6 to 40, okay? Whatever that number is going to be. And those are the agents you're just going to start working through. Now, if there is, in looking at an agent and creating their profile, so if I go down here and I go, let's put everything down here, updating your data. For each agent that you call, you should also begin pulling data on that agent and putting it in your CRM. So let's say we look at their Facebook page, and this person is specializes in horse property. and they do a great job. Everything they do deals with horse properties, and you don't have someone like that in your office. Well, you might take the attitude that you're going to approach them and say, look, we have agents that have clients that ask about, horse property. We don't really have anyone specializing in it. We'd love to talk to you and make you our in-house specialist, where so that our agents can refer those clients to you, because that you're someone we're looking for right now. So it might be someone that you're like, hey, we need you, right?
So recognizing their specialties is, in
Right.
many cases, probably more than their current broker is doing.
Right. Maybe you have a really great marketing team that could put together some really cool branded marketing pieces because they are a specialist. Then that gives you something to talk about on, are you paying for your own branding, and what's your company doing to position you in the marketplace to receive referrals from agents and to showcase you as to the public as a person that's really good at this. But what if the what if the agent is, if you as a broker, let's say, are coaching and mentoring, then you could actually go all the way down to agents that only had 2 or 3 deals last year and say, oh, for this year, we're going to focus on agents between 2 and 15 deals only. We're just going to spend our entire year, 2019 is the year to help agents upgrade their business. Everything we're going to do as a company is going to be coaching and mentoring directed. So we're going to do our marketing as coaching directed. We're going to look for agents that are going to be a good fit for us because of what we're doing this year. That would be great. On the other hand, I was talking to a broker.
Focus is always a good thing, right?
Exactly. But what if you say, look, I don't want any new agents. I don't want anyone that's low producers. I want people that know what they're doing. Okay, then definitely pull that mark up. Let's say it's at 6. Because if you're not going to coach and mentor, you're not going to help people, increase their business or do well in the business, then probably you need agents that do at least know what they're doing and they're at a certain level. If you are going after team leaders, but as a company you haven't first taken the time to put things in place to recruit teams, then you're probably going to keep hitting the wall on those teams because they got very specific things they want. So sometimes you also have to say, okay, who do I want to recruit in 2019? And if it's team leaders and teams, then do your research first, see what team leaders and teams need, put it in place in your office, and then go up to the agents because now you're a good fit for those agents. So it's not just, you might just randomly start off with, let's just get the list of agents and start calling. But if they're not a good fit for your office, throw them out. If they are a good fit for your office, get them in.
And maybe determine first who is the best fit for your office. I think there's a lot of times brokers have not even asked themselves that question, not even looked at the metrics in their office, not even said, okay, here's what the best, what our best customer, because your best customer as a broker is your agent, right? What does our best customer look like? What does our best agent look like? What's the best possible fit?
Exactly.
And once you have that information, you can always grow on it, just like an agent would expand into a niche market. But you've got to start somewhere. What is our best fit? And then, okay, love that. We've got that. So we're going to go after more people like that.
Right.
Then it's a great time to, okay, now I want to start adding teams, or now I want to start adding specialists, but you have to start with what your core is about.
Exactly. And even your facility, I had a recruiter that, recently approached me and said, look, I need some help. The broker has said they only want they want me to focus on young agents, like in their 20s, very young, energetic agents, the up and comers. But our office hasn't been updated for 40 years. And, I've had several interviews, but they literally, leave and go somewhere else. And that looks more of that open networking style office that agents
take the plastic covers off the sofas.
Yeah. So sometimes it's even as simple as, okay, if you want that young agent, do you know what they want? And is your office set up to attract them? So whatever it is, you're right. Do some thinking here. Figure out, because the more in line your recruits are, your systems and offices with the types of recruits you're going after, the better your success is going to be.
Sure.
So it's very frustrating for you if you bring in 10 agents, you interview 10 agents, they all decide no, because the agents you brought in were looking for something other than what it is that you offer as a company. So make sure that, as you collect this information on your agents, you're putting it in the CRM and whatever, and that the people are a good fit. So that's a work in progress. It never stops. The other thing that I think a lot of brokers have fallen off the wagon on, based on my conversations, is that they aren't really implementing an effective marketing strategy. So as a reminder, there's two types of marketing that have to be in place at all times. It's the educational part of your marketing, and it's the positioning part. Now, everyone on this call is perfectly aligned with the positioning market because you are profitable recruiter members, okay? But here's what I'm finding out, and Julie, I know I've pointed a couple of them out too, and I would say 50% of our members that I'm talking to are not sending the emails out.
That's crazy. I have the tools right there.
Right. So probably 80% of the members that I'm talking to have not taken the presentation visuals and insert information into them if they don't have something else that they're using. They aren't using the social media tools that we have prepared for them, and which are customizable. So you've got a ton of tools with your membership in this program. And one of the most effective tools that you have, though, is that the emails that we write for you to send out each week are feel-good marketing tools, meaning that it's something you can keep in front of your recruits every single week that makes them feel good. And we do hear from our brokers that send them out that they have calls every week from agents saying, oh my gosh, that message hit home this week, and I love that message, and thank you so much for your Monday morning messages. We create those to make them feel good, so that they want to see something from you each week, that they can see your face in front of them, and even before they're ready to move. So every day something happens in the real estate office that might cause someone to become unhappy. If you're staying positioned and you're hovering over them with a tool that you have, so this is the emails, then that person on a Monday morning might just think, hey, you know what, I'm going to call Julie. I'm just so fed up with this company, I just need some different support. So that's when recruiting gets easy, when they start reaching out to you because you're staying positioned. And again, as a reminder, you need visuals in your interview process. If you haven't done that yet, or you haven't created visuals, just download our templates, insert your information, customize them, and you're done. You need to be staying positioned in social media. I think that's one of the next things. We also created, I say we, I say we, but I will tell you the person that created them is Julie, okay? So I provide a lot of content. Julie makes everything look amazing. And so, Julie, you do such a great job. Thank you so much for all the work that you do behind the scenes to make everything look amazing. But that's done so that you can easily just customize a lot of this stuff that's on the site to make your marketing easier. But you have to stay positioned. The other way of staying positioned is obviously through social media. That's also a great way to build your relationships through social media. Each time you make a comment on their Facebook page about something, or comment on their LinkedIn maybe article or something they've posted, and then they like what you said, that's an engagement. Means that they noticed that you liked it and they responded.
On that note, Judy, I love them. I always point new members to the webinar on demand that we have with Roberta Ross, where she talks about the system for social media. I think it's just so smart.
Exactly. And then we interviewed the lady, Rhonda Shear, the LinkedIn. That was really, really interesting content. So yeah, we try to bring some interesting speakers in when we meet people in the marketplace that will help contribute to your success. We try to feature them here, as well as just great recruiters, and like our recruiter last month, and so Jackie had some great tips for everyone. So, the webinars are to help you move forward, but the tools are as well. Now, here's the other thing that I'm finding brokers forget. Maybe they're sending the emails out to the recruits, but they're forgetting to send them to their own agents. Okay, so it should be going to your agents because
Right.
that's a
Retention.
right? And the other thing that everyone keeps forgetting is that you then let your agents know and your recruits know that they only have to copy and paste that information and put it into their own template, the agent's template, to put it in front of their clients and customers each week. Because if an agent will stay positioned weekly with feel-good marketing to their client database, they'll pick up 6 to 8 transactions a year. So that's the averages, okay? So imagine if your own agents are picking up 6 to 8 transactions a year through staying positioned, existing clients or referrals from clients, then that success is tied to you. But more importantly, if your recruits are picking up 6 to 8 transactions a year because of something that you're providing to them, then their success begins being tied to you, not them too. So let's just make sure that if you're stuck, let's just go back and make sure that you're doing all the things that you need to be doing to educate them, to stay positioned, to engage with agents. You all know the Facebook rule, but as a reminder, it's each morning spend 20 minutes on Facebook. Set your all of your recruits up into a list, and set your agents up in a list. Those lists get parked on the left-hand side. First thing in the morning, go in for 20 minutes, hit your recruit list. The only comments you'll see are those from the recruits. Do 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 personal invite every day to get together. And then at the end of the day, 20 minutes with your own agents, check in your own agents, 10 likes, 5 comments, 1 compliment to an agent. That tells you what happened in their world that day. And that's really, really important from a retention standpoint.
So simple.
Oh my gosh. So many agents have been recruited away because the broker didn't know about something devastating that happened that day. And look, I've been there. I've managed 100 agents, and you think, well, I can't know what's going on in their life every day. Well, actually today you can. If they're on Facebook, you will know what's going on in their life every day because they put it on Facebook. They especially put things on Facebook that are exciting or tragic. So you have an opportunity to constantly compliment your agents, congratulate them, or offer condolences when needed. Very, very important. Now, the second part is the educational component, okay? This is where a lot of our brokers, I think, are falling down. The educational component can be done in a lot of different ways. You can educate agents with postcards, with flyers, you can do digital marketing, but in order to have an effective educational marketing campaign that says, here's why you should be looking at our organization, you have to first know what your compelling reasons to join are. Now, most of you should know that, but it's, what are you doing better than someone in the marketplace? What are you doing that's unique in the marketplace? And for those of you that struggle with things that are unique, then we can create unique names. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But if you've got your 12 compelling reasons to join, then you have to have a visual that has the results on it. Again, our visuals on the site have the place down there to insert the result or testimonial so that it's all right there. You can even use that as your marketing campaign. But again, Julie also created some great ones. In addition to the presentation templates, some great visuals to use for marketing. So go into the site if you haven't been there recently and definitely take a look at that.
Hey, Judy, can you go through the 2010-5-1 again real quick?
Sure. So the 2010-5-1, if we go back here, is first off, it's important that their recruits be in one list and that their agents be in a list. And they should teach their agents to do this too, because all their agents have to do is put all their clients into a list. But once it's in the list, what it does is, these days when you go on Facebook, quite honestly, it feels more like the Sears catalog to me. You've got like everything in the world is for sale, and heavens forbid you should click on anything, because then you'll get twice as much information on that thing. And so sometimes you're going through so many commercials and ads that like you can't even find the people that you know on Facebook or what they're doing. Once you set up the list, no commercials, no ads, nothing to divert your attention, nothing posted from people that you don't know outside those groups. Only the posts from the people in that list show up when you click on it. So therefore, if you've got 100 agents that are on your hit list, and those 100 agents are on that list, then only the comments from those 100 agents are showing up that day. So you go back and look at what happened for the last couple of days in their life. It should only take you 20 minutes if they're in a list. Then it's 10 likes, 5 comments, 1 personal message. So they might have a quote that I just like, or they have a promotion I like, they have a listing I like. Maybe they have a grandchild. I comment, what a beautiful grandchild. What an exciting time for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Here, whatever it is. And then the personal message every single day is for a recruit, you're going to say, beautiful wedding this weekend. How exciting. You know, our family here is growing as well. We'd love to sit down and talk to you about what we're doing as an organization. You know, what day next week can we sit down and get together? So every day you invite someone to get together for an interview. If at the end of the day with your agents, it's the same thing. It's the 20-10-5-1. But the one comment might be, wow, saw that listing. What an awesome listing. You know, we are so excited that you're on our team. Or congratulations on the addition of your family. Like, you know, I love the commitment that you have to your family, and it's always so heartwarming to see things you do. Just make a true, sincere compliment.
Love it.
Now, for some of you that are trying to stand out from your competition a little bit, then you can take some things that everybody kind of has and create what's called a unique name, which means that, you know, instead of just saying we offer coaching, you have the opportunity to say, look, everyone out there offers some sort of coaching these days, but we have a strategic 32-step, you know, exclusive 32-step strategic path to success that we create for each agent. It's very customized and it's different for each agent, you know, but that's one of the reasons why our agents are more successful. You know, or you have the opportunity to say, look, everyone has a business plan. Okay, we have what's called a comprehensive business plan analysis, which means that we're going to analyze your entire business first, take a look at what you did last year, see what worked, see what didn't work, and then help create that plan to move forward in 2019. In addition to that, you know, we're not just going to say, hey, you know, let me know if you need some help, you know, because everyone's going to say, hey, I'm here to support you. But we have premier quarterly evaluations that we take a look at that business, we look at what happened the last quarter, and that's designed to make sure that your business stays on track, and if not, we spot those areas early on that it's off track. You know, with marketing support, you can call it multi-tiered marketing strategy to, you know, keep you connected and support your business. And certainly, I'm just making this stuff up, but it could be, you know, yeah, and that's what you got to do too. You just make up a name, because if you make it up, you're the only one that has it. But, you know, when you look at marketing support, you know, versus saying just we have marketing support, look at all the ways that you do help agents market themselves and properties these days. By the time you look at all the different platforms and stuff that you're doing, it's probably way more than 14. But this makes it sound, you know, really special. And if you've got really productive agents and your per person production is higher than the competition's, again, you don't have just great agents. You can prove that you have great agents. So also, you know, if you feel like your stuff looks like everyone else's stuff, then you can take anything that you're doing and create a special unique name for it, and then it will stand out from the competition.
Love it.
But you got to market it, okay? So you got to talk to people about why it's special. You got to send out marketing pieces on why it's special, post it, you know, on social media, have some fun with it. You do have to make your calls, okay?
Oh, come on now.
Everyone keeps
That's
waiting
not
for
what
me
they
to
want to hear.
And someone told me recently, they said, you know, Judy, you've been saying the same thing for 25 years. I got to make the calls. I'm like, as soon as I figure out a different way that's equally or more effective than making calls to connect with agents, you will be the first to know. But, you know, we're going to give you a few things today. You know, one is you can call it a strategy session versus an interview, because that sounds a little bit more interesting. So, you know, we're doing something special. You know, I'm doing something special this week. I'm actually inviting agents in for what's called a strategy session, where we look at your business, and together we kind of, you know, we develop a strategy for 2019 that allows you to take advantage of some opportunities that maybe you didn't do in 2018, implement some things that you haven't done in the past, and have a different outcome for 2019. Now, obviously, as you and I both know, that is the interview process, because you ask questions and see what they're doing now, what they did or didn't do, and you present tools and solutions that they don't currently have.
Correct.
So your interview process is perfect for that, but it's going to sound intriguing, so maybe that'll help. Okay. um, right now we're in recruiting season still. Don't be hanging out on the phone for 30 minutes trying to build the relationship right now. Just go in for the hit. Now, as a business professional, do you keep your options open? Great. Let's set up a time to get together so we can show what your options are with us. Now, if you like what you hear, let's give you a proposal. Right now, we're offering we're doing something special here. We have strategy sessions that are taking place with we're sitting down at the agents marketplace to do this. Can we set up a time to get together? So it doesn't really matter during recruiting season if you have a relationship with the agents or not. Your call should be very direct. We're just trying to gather as many, find as many agents as we can in the marketplace who are willing to look at their options before the spring market kicks in and gets too busy. If you're a broker, you should have 15 connections each week, and those should be secured in the front end of the week. Remember, I just had recently that said 50% of all their appointments were canceling, but we found out that they were getting busy in the beginning of the week, so they were making all their calls on Thursday, Friday. Therefore, the out and they forgot about that 48-hour rule. Okay, so from the moment that you make the appointment, you should be in front of that agent within 48 hours if possible. As brokers, if you make your appointments early in the week and you keep the interviews that week, it's going to be better. Now, recruiters, you're calling every day, so you're always going to have calls going into the next week. But something that you can do is send them, if you have a company brochure, whether it's digital or a hard copy, get something to them and on the phone say, listen, because our appointment's a few days away, I'm going to send you something. It's an overview of a lot of things that we do here as a company. I'd like you to just take a quick glance through it before we get together and let me know what the 3 things are that you see in our brochure that are things that you'd like to know more about that perhaps you don't currently have. And if I know the 3 things that you don't have that you'd like to really have, that you'd like to know more about, I'll make sure that I have additional information here on those things when we get together. But it's a way of giving them a sneak preview about your company and creating some interest to know more about what you're doing. And that will also help secure that appointment.
Awesome.
Here's some good news for you. Texting counts as a contact, okay? So 9 calls, 1 text, okay? You can do 10 texts. It doesn't matter. So texting counts as a contact as long as they respond. So if you're thinking just text 3,000 agents and you made 3,000 calls, well, it's only 3,000 people respond back. They probably won't. Drivers prefer texting and agents that are busy prefer texting. So you can have an entire conversation via text. That counts like a call. So, hey, blend those texts in. Here's the other thing. Private messaging on Facebook also counts as a contact. So now you have, as a broker, if you have to have 5 interactions, 5 connections with agents on Monday, 5 on Tuesday, 5 on Wednesday, you can have those 5 connections by way of some private Facebook private messages to some agents that you know. So go back and forth on private messaging. You can send out a couple of texts to people that you know. If they respond back, that's counting. And then pick up the phone and call a couple of people. So you can actually do a lot of different things that will accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. So there's the good news. It's not just calls. I just made it easier for you.
That's right.
Right. And if you're a broker and you're just sitting here going, I hate the calls, I hate the calls, I hate the calls, then fine. You know what? Just start off texting and Facebook private messaging. Don't even do your calls. If you're stuck and you just can't bring yourself to make the calls, I'd rather you focus on E and F than not doing anything at all. So just get unstuck. Here's the other thing that a lot of people are forgetting, and it's so important. In farming, an agent who's working a specific farm area will always make sure that everybody in the marketplace knows when they get a listing, everyone knows they got a listing. When it sells, they know that they sold that listing. If a listing sold in less than market time, they know that too. Why is that? Because if you keep telling everybody in that area, Julie LaDeur just got another listing, Julie LaDeur just sold another home, Julie LaDeur just sold record time, then that whole group begins to think, wow, when we're going to sell our house, we should definitely call Judy. Your hit list needs to see your results too. Another great agent joined our team. 6 more people joined our team last month. 8 more joined our team. I was just one of my coaching clients this earlier today. Works for a great company down in North Carolina, and you know, he's got 6 recruits signed up for the month of February, which is great.
That's
His
awesome.
goal. And but right now, you could just send out the message that says, you know, 6 agents have joined our team in February alone, and so we'd love to talk to you about why they've joined. Okay, so if somebody joined a year ago and they've got great results, post those results, send out that testimonial. If you've got a tool or a training program or anything that has great results, send it out. Here's one of the reasons why our agents are so successful. Here's one of the reasons why agents do more business when they join our team. That your entire hit list has to constantly be hit with, here's why everyone's moving. Here's why they're doing well. If you do that, then everyone on that hit list starts looking at you thinking, man, you know, I don't know, I definitely need to talk to them if I am going to move, though. And that's what you're trying to create. Now they're already looking at you. They're thinking about you. You make that call. Did you get our most? Did you see the post that we just posted of so-and-so made the move over here? You know, they're so excited. They've been here for less than a week. They've got 2 listings secured. The one thing that they said to me yesterday was they can't believe how easy it is to secure listings with our firm. In 1 week, it got easier. Right?
Awesome.
We'd love to talk to you about how you can have that same kind of success. See, if you'll promote your results and your success, it's way easier to get people to come and meet with you because everyone wants what someone has already accomplished. And as a reminder, there's a rule of marketing which basically states that the first 3 contacts that someone has with you, they barely even remember who called them. Like if you called an agent that you've never talked to before and then 20 minutes later someone said, did you just get a call from a broker? Yeah, they go, who is it? They're like, I don't know, I forget. What was the company? I don't remember that either because they don't know who you are. So the first contact, the first 3 contacts, it takes 3 contacts in a row to remember you. So when you make a phone call, immediately send out a text or an email. It was great chatting with you. Appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you on the phone. If they aren't coming in, you can say, I appreciate the fact that you're happy right now. I'll touch base in a few months to see how things are going. By the way, I did just send a Facebook request. I'd love to be friends on Facebook so that we can get to know each other a little bit so that if the time comes where we want to make a move, at least you'll know a little bit more about me and who I am as a person. So now what's happened is, you know, the call was number 1, the text or that email was number 2. I've let them know I want to be your Facebook friend. My Facebook request is number 3. At that point, they remember who Judy is. By the time I have had sent a video out, perhaps, maybe another email about something, comment a couple times on Facebook, they're going to say, oh yeah, that's Judy with, you know. And so that 7 contacts connects you to your company. 27 engagements or interactions is the amount of interactions it takes to earn their trust. Now, in the old days, you guys are so lucky, okay? Because as a recruiter, you know what I had? I had the phone. And we didn't have social media. We didn't have texting. We had nothing but the phone. And imagine, you can't keep calling agents over and over and over. You'll hear brokers that have been around for a long time. They'll say, yeah, it took me 7 years to get that agent. Well, that's because it took 7 years to have 27 contacts, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. So these days, you can get 27 interactions in just a few months. And that's what you've got to always keep in mind is that the goal is to get to that point to where they feel like they trust what you're going to tell them. So when you are sitting in front of them, your job's a lot easier.
Exactly.
So that's your 4, like, you know, if you're stuck, go back to the basics. That's your 4 basics. If you're doing all those things, you are basically ready for your interview process. Now, obviously, today we don't have time to go through the interview. We've been doing that in the past a little bit, and we'll do that a little bit more for you this year. But, you know, a master recruiter can sign up 70% of the agents that they meet with the first time, but only if, okay, only if they have a relationship going into that interview. They have maintained weekly positive positions. So again, no excuse for anyone on this call to not be doing that. That's what that's part of your membership package. The timing has to be right. Okay, that person has to be open to making a change. Your compelling reasons to join are a fit to their needs. Okay, so if they're looking for what are the best reasons to join your company, that's a home run. And you have to be able to show and prove value to them in their business. So if you're doing everything we've talked about up until now, and these things are in place, you have a real good shot of signing that agent up when you meet with them.
Exactly. And don't forget that in your platform, we have those 7.5 hours of audio training in the platform. So if you feel like maybe your skills are a little rusty, this is a perfect opportunity to, take the weekend, review some of the webinars on demand, go back and see what other brokers have been doing successfully, and dive into that audio training. Give yourself a refresher so that when you're hitting the ground running, whether you're making those calls or sending those texts, or hopefully a combination of both on when you hit the ground next week, you've got everything. You're in the right frame of mind. You've got the right mindset. You've got the right skills and the tools in front of you. And that is empowering. That helps you get past that fear of the phone when you feel like, oh, well, you know what? I've got what I need to make these calls.
Right, exactly. So awesome. As a reminder, sometimes you only get one shot. So that's why, like what Julie just said, if you feel like your interview skills need a little, refreshing, just go in there and listen to the audio tapes, review your notes. A lot of you have taken training at some of our events because you have to be able to communicate value to that agent and their business when you're in front of them. And if you only get one shot and you don't do it, that when you are in front of them, sometimes they never give you another chance to get in front of them. So make sure you get it right the first time.
Exactly. And what's your in the absence of value?
Right, money becomes a substitute.
We've talked about that so much in the last few months with all of the distractions in the marketplace and the disruptors in the marketplace. So you've really got to build that value, that more now than ever.
Right. And you know what? Make sure that you're prepared for your interview. So I just wanted to say that, and based on that, like sometimes you only get one shot. We still have brokers that are dashing into the interview without looking online, without Googling the agent, without looking at that agent's site, without looking to see if that agent specializes in anything, without looking on social media to see what's important to them, without really knowing much about their company, or thinking about what behavior pattern do they have, what are they most likely to want. Again, if you will spend the time, 15 to 30 minutes, really researching that candidate just before they come in, and all the information is fresh in your mind, that again is going to really increase the odds of your signing that agent up when you're in front of them. So simple stuff, but just things that you got to make sure that you remember.
Exactly.
And sometimes they don't sign up that day, okay? But they don't all sign up. They don't even all sign up for me. But you always want to give it your best shot, okay? So that if 7 out of 10 times they do sign up that day, that's always going to be great for any of you. But if they don't sign up that day, don't forget that. Don't let them out the door without making that appointment while they're still in front of you. There's 3 things you can do. Either one, you can say, hey, if you're not ready to sign up today, let's set up the transition meeting. That's where we go through all of your current listings, pendings, things like that in detail so that we make sure that it's a really smooth transition. So that's what that would be. If there's another member of the team, maybe you have a business partner or a broker. If you're the recruiter, you have a broker. You could say, if you're not ready to start today, probably the next step would be to meet with the manager of that office, or to meet with our broker that would like to meet the people we're talking to. So use that as your reason. Or if there's additional information that they wanted, set up the meeting to be able to get back and show them maybe some marketing brochures, or, what you could do to help brand that agent, see what that would look like. But it's way easier to get the appointment that day when they're in front of you than it is to chase them later for it. And here's a little tip for you. If you think that meeting went really well, okay, and they're just saying, well, just want to think about it, and you try to set up a second meeting while they're in front of you and they won't set it up, Unfortunately, that meeting didn't go nearly as well as you think it went. Hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but any agent who was impressed with what you had to say and is thinking about it will definitely come in for that transition meeting, because that's a big part of that move. And so they'll keep that process moving forward. Or if there's information that they need to make that decision, they'll come back in for it. Or if they're interested in making a move and they want to meet that manager, they'll come back in for it. So if they'll make the appointment, you are on the right path. If not, then I would definitely spend a few more minutes saying, so, if you're not ready to make that next appointment, let me ask you this. When you came in today, what were you hoping to accomplish? And what could we have talked about that maybe we didn't talk about? What could we have done that we didn't do? Just try to figure out why they're there. They'll tell you sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes, but I definitely try.
Be brave. Ask the questions.
Be brave, right? Yeah. Everyone always tells me, I was thinking about that. I was wondering why they didn't come out. I'm like, did you ask them? No. Well, ask them. You just gotta be bold as a recruiter. Like, what's going on here? And
how many times have we heard that?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't come on board. Well, did you ask them to? And sometimes the agents over there going, well, they didn't ask, so I guess they don't want me, kind of thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, be bold. Okay, recruiters are bold, and if there's, I always say, if there's something that you're thinking in your head that you're thinking, I wonder why they said that, you should always be asking. And because you have to know. So you're in the business of helping agents transfer their businesses, and so there's something that's holding it up. You got to know. Statistics do show, however, that 50% of the agents who actually join a company are a direct result of follow-up after that meeting. Okay, so that means that if you don't get them signed up and then you just kind of think, like they didn't join, I'm not gonna bother with more time with them, and you just keep moving on, you could have probably doubled your numbers had you just followed up effectively with everybody else. So I love Joyce Meyer's quote, which is so perfect. It's called, patience is not the ability to wait, okay? It's just how you act while you're waiting.
I love it.
And some people in your personal life that probably aren't very patient, you know what I mean by that? It's called like what do you do while you're waiting? Do you keep that door open? Do they feel that connection to you? So you provide them with valuable things. Do they continue to want to know more? Make sure that everything you're doing to follow up is continuing to move them in the right direction. And sometimes you need a coach to get you unstuck. So we are doing something new that some of you aren't aware of. I do have what's called Mastery Performance Training. And I'm training groups in either one-on-one or in small groups of 3 via Zoom online. We're doing actual training. So if you think you need to go back and just get some training to fine-tune those skills, let me know. Obviously, I also offer coaching. Coaching is different than training, okay? Sometimes to get you unstuck, you just need a coach because you already know what to do. That coach just needs to get you moving forward in the right direction. So if you know what to do, coaching is better. If you're not sure that you even quite have that interview process nailed, if you're feeling like your performance needs work, then probably you need training more so than coaching. Okay. But we're here for you. Julie, any last words?
No, I think you kind of hit it in the beginning, in that there's so many tools that are available for brokers that the trick is to start using them and making sure that you're pulling out all the stops. You're making those calls, that you've got all the skills and the tools and the training right there waiting for you. So
exactly.
So don't wait anymore. Now's the time, right?
Yeah, I'd like to encourage all of our listeners too, is if you've got an idea on something that you'd like to hear us cover in one of our monthly webinars, we'd love to hear from you.
Sure.
We are talking to a couple of recruiters out there that we had a lot of positive feedback when Jackie was on. We've got some other recruiters doing a great job out there that we'll bring on this year. But if there's topics, things that you need us to cover to help you, just let us know. We're happy to present.
Email, exactly.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Well, thank you for being on the call today. Thank you, Julie, for hosting it.
Thank you so much. And everybody have a great day, a great rest of the month. And we'll see you again in March.
Yeah, stay warm and stay safe.
Right. All right. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.